Drew Barrymore is the host of a wonderful talk show and is considered to be one of the best daytime talk show hosts ever. However, she has come under fire this week for announcing the return of her talk show despite there being an ongoing writer's strike in Hollywood. So let's break into the drama. Welcome to Beyond the Screen. I'm Nate, and it's tea time. Earlier this week, the talk show host and actress said that the program would be returning and would be in line with the rules of the strict guidelines, but the show's writers were among those who picketed the studio in New York after the show resumed filming. This past Tuesday, the National Book Foundation said it had rescinded Drew's invitation to host the National Book Awards, which I truly did not know was a thing. I just assumed that they slapped a New York Times bestseller sticker on the front and just kind of let it loose. But there is a very real ceremony that Drew is no longer welcome to attend. The foundation released a statement saying the National Book Awards is an evening dedicated to celebrating the power of literature and the incomparable contributions of writers in our culture. They went on to say, in light of the announcement that the Drew Barrymore show will resume production, the National Book Foundation has rescinded Miss Barrymore's invitation to host the 74th National Book Awards ceremony in New York. The move comes completely out of left field, as before the controversy, the foundation praised her work. Drew is the author of several books, including a biographical piece called Wildflower, recounting her childhood. The book has received massive praise and, surprise surprise, was on the New York Times bestsellers list. The Writers Guild of America has been on strike since the beginning of May over concerns about pay, proper working conditions, and the use of artificial intelligence, with actors joining the strike in July in solidarity. The cast of Oppenheimer, one of the highest grossing films of this year, walked out of the Los Angeles premiere just to join the picket line in an attempt to spread awareness and showcase the impact that the strike had on Hollywood as a whole. Now, at the start of the strike, Drew stepped down as the host of her show, as well as the host for the MTV Film and TV Awards, in solidarity with the striking WGA members. However, she has stated that she made the choice to return for the first time during the strike for the sake of the show. She said that the show may have her name on it, but that the whole situation was much larger than herself. She owned the choice and confirmed that the show had no intentions of operating against the guidelines set in place by the strike, namely the rule of promoting affected TV shows or films. She went on to say that the return to the show was her way of trying to provide what writers do so well, which is a way of bringing us together or help make sense of the human experience. The bigwigs at CBS said that her show would not be performing any written work covered by the WGA strike, so Drew essentially signed herself up to write and star in the talk show. The show, which was set to return to air tonight, normally employs at least 3 writers who are members of the Writers Guild, members that picketed outside of the studio. Speaking on the picket line, one former writer, Chelsea White, said, "First and foremost, this is obviously bigger than the Drew Barrymore show and its writers," and she continued to say that they were on the lines to stand with their union and were feeling great and just excited to be surrounded by so many creative minds. Chelsea informed us that Barrymore's show was Writers Guild of America covered. It was a struck show that is planning to return without its writers, which is just a fancy way of saying she really shouldn't be putting it back on. A union representative told the press that the guild has and will continue to picket struck shows that are in production during the writer's strike. Any writing on the Drew Barrymore show is in violation of the WGA rules, something that her team literally said would not happen. What's odd is that Drew's position as a performer on the show was not in violation of anything that the rules had. According to CBS, the show is covered by some different actor's contract than the one that's currently in dispute. So the contract, which covers talk, game, and variety shows and soap operas, was renewed by the union last year. So technically speaking, she's not breaking a guideline, but at the same time she kinda is, because while protected on the hosting side of things, writing her own material is super against the rules. Drew released a 4-minute long apology taking full responsibility for her actions and giving her side as her decision onto restarting the show. She never meant to hurt anyone, as she herself has been through some truly rough situations. She of course acknowledged the pain that she had caused people online and knew that there was nothing that she could say to make this better. She reminded the audience that the show was literally created and premiered in 2020 when we were all supposed to stay away from each other, and it was literally built on sensitivity. But unfortunately, as she said, there is not much that can be said or done to make things right or solve this problem. The situation is unfortunate. Just to explain a little bit on what's happening with this strike, on March 7th of this year, 99% of members from the Writers Guild of America voted in favor of demands that included calls for increased compensation, better residuals, staffing requirements, and protection from artificial intelligence interfering with their jobs. Negotiations between the union and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Production. Who would have guessed that the guys at the top making all the money wouldn't want to share the money with the people who made them rich? That's so shocking. The strike shut down everything in Hollywood. Films like Deadpool 3 were put on ice until the two sides could reach an agreement. The reason Drew Barrymore is receiving so much hate right now is because the strike also put live shows on ice. Saturday Night Live, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, all of the Jimmys are on the picket lines waiting for their shows to recommence. Around the middle of July, the Screen Actors Guild and American Federation of Television and Radio Artists joined the picket line. All the actors joined in. That's what I mean. That's a long way of saying all of the actors were there now too, and I mean like all of the actors. Chris Hemsworth, the cast of Breaking Bad, Danny Trejo aka Machete, even Cal Penn and John Cho aka Harold and Kumar joined the lines. The failure to reach a settlement has resulted in over $3 billion hitting the California economy, and despite claims from the studios that their intentions are to reach a deal, they've continued to deny their workers the rights and will not even talk about the usage of AI in film, even though it's happening. Not to mention that during the strike, an insider at Hollywood Studios informed the media that they actually had no plans on signing anything. In fact, one executive claimed that the end game was to allow things to drag on until the union members started losing their apartments and houses. The AMP publicly refuted the report, but come on, why would anyone admit to doing that? Drew's part in all of this is honestly pretty minimal, but her move to restart the show while negotiations have yet to take place has left a very sour taste in Hollywood's mouth. However, the hate may not be warranted, and if it is, it might not last long. The recent news from the picket lines is that the studios and the union have agreed to return to the table, and they're starting to maybe reach a settlement. I'm just gonna say this now, if you made it this far into the video, thanks a lot. It means the world when you actually pay attention and follow me through these topics, but hopefully if you made it past all this strike talk, then you might have a heart and care about what's happening. So again, thank you, you're a great person. And so is Drew Barrymore. I'm not gonna hate on this lady because her decision to resume the show was just a little off, but she's not that off. There is nothing wrong with wanting to work. I do it every day for this channel, but when your colleagues and close friends and business partners are all saying, hey, don't do that, that's not okay, you should probably listen to those people. Drew Barrymore's show is wonderful. There have been some awesome and truly candid moments with celebrities that probably would have never shared that side of themselves had it not been for Drew just being such a calming presence. Her interview with musician MGK still plays in my head constantly. This man was painting nails and expressing his emotions, and hey, we love him for it. So there has been a new development though. Over this past weekend, Drew took to Instagram to tell the world that she actually changed her mind and would allow her show to remain cancelled. All of the public backlash and surely the negative comments from her fellow performers were not helping the situation. She posted on Instagram saying that she heard our concerns and would be postponing the premiere until the strike is over. PR team at CBS praised the decision, and so far it's looking like a lesson was learned and a statement was made. Hollywood will not back down. Normally I try to make jokes here and entertain you, but honestly I do not feel okay with trying to make fun of the strike, so let's end the video on a positive note. As I mentioned, the negotiations are set to resume sometime this week. With this being one of the longest strikes in history, many celebrities are very hopeful that the next round of negotiations will yield positive results. Streaming giants like Netflix, Disney Plus, and Paramount have lost millions of dollars in possible ticket sales, and several of their releases have been pushed back during the strike. So with any luck, Drew's show and many others are going to be back in full swing very soon. Until then, I want to thank you again for checking out our content on the channel. If you made it to the end of this video, you're an incredible person, and I wish you nothing but the best today and every day. If you haven't already, follow the channel. Sometimes we post really fun videos that you should definitely check out. Drop a like, show your support. Thanks for stopping beyond the screen, and we'll see you next time. Surprise, surprise was on the New York Times bestsellers list. The Writers Guild of America has been on strike. Oh, sorry, I think there's something wrong with the writing on the screen. There we go, it is fixed. I went German for a second there and I don't know why. That's okay. We'll do the rest in German. Ich bin ein. No. The Writers of America.